Okay, so let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today, really getting into the daily routine of this minimalist creator, and it's all based on just one video source, which maybe surprisingly starts off pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, it's a great hook because he absolutely plays into the stereotype first.
Yeah.
The video kicks off showing you exactly what you think a hardcore minimalist's day looks like, that,
Ah.
super extreme, almost ascetic version.
Exactly. The whole parody bit,
Yeah.
he claims like he wakes up at 6:00 a.m. sharp, no alarm needed, because, his entire life is just this perfect machine of optimization.
Mhm.
Then it gets even wilder. He says he has no need for a garbage bin, like none, because he apparently creates zero waste.
Right, which is
Yeah.
pretty out there. And the little details are perfect. That single stainless steel bowl,
Oh, the bowl. Yeah.
it's his cereal bowl, and then later it's his coffee cup. The idea being, if it's not serving multiple extreme purposes, ditch it.
It's the cliche just push all the way, isn't it, to this really sterile, logical extreme. But then, and this is why this source is so good for you, the listener, he immediately pivots.
Yeah, that's the key moment.
He pulls back and basically says, look, that's the version I could perform for YouTube, but this isn't actually my day. I'm not that much of an asshole, his words.
And that pivot just instantly clarifies what we're really looking at here. We're not dissecting the performance, the extreme act. We're looking at the practical reality behind it.
Right.
So the source itself gives us that contrast, the stereotype versus the, let's call it the intentional practice. And the takeaway for anyone listening, thinking about these ideas is, what structures does this guy actually build into his day? Not just what stuff does he avoid buying.
Okay, so let's ditch the myths then and get into the real structure, the intentionality, starting with the morning, the real wake up. Still early, yeah. Somewhere between 6:30 and 6:30 a.m. But he's honest about it, admits he uses the snooze button sometimes, and confirms, basic hygiene toothbrush, daily shower, not the parody version.
It's good to know he's human. But the first real efficiency hack, the first bit of clear intentionality, comes right after getting dressed.
Oh, yeah, the clothes. It's such a simple but, powerful example of saving mental energy, just says it straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wear the same thing almost every day. Charcoal t-shirt, black jeans.
And it's not just one shirt he washes constantly.
No, he's got a stack of the same charcoal shirts ready to go.
So we got to ask, right, is that minimalism, strictly speaking? Or is it just really smart productivity?
That's a good question.
It feels like a very low-friction choice. Almost automated, really, designed specifically to cut down on wasting brain power on, frankly, trivial stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He saves that energy for the big decisions, the creative work.
I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's maybe less about fewer things and more about uniform things that just take the thinking out of the non-essentials.
And that uniformity, that sort of ritual, it carries right into the coffee.
The classic pour-over.
Yep, the hipster coffee, as he calls it. But that slow, deliberate process, it feels like a conscious shift, doesn't it? A transition into work mode.
Totally. Those low-friction choices, same clothes, predictable coffee ritual, they free up the mental space for the high-friction stuff, like, running a business. And the business model itself, that's another layer of intentionality. Very efficient.
Right, that's where the Patreon comes in. He's really clear about this. As setting up that direct funding was crucial for him. It lets him keep his main YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.
And think about that choice. That's a huge decision impacting his work. It's deliberately optimizing how the money comes in so he can keep the content itself pure. Imagine the time and mental energy spent chasing sponsors, fitting in ad reads, tweaking videos for algorithms.
Yeah, all that stuff.
By getting his most dedicated followers onto Patreon, where they pay for exclusive stuff, he basically buys back his focus.
Yeah.
Buys back mental freedom.
And what's the exclusive content? He lists it out. It's all very process-focused, aimed at that learner audience you mentioned. Videos on how he actually makes his films, his idea process, tips on growing an audience, advice on building a business.
He's monetizing the how-to, so the main what stays clean.
Exactly.
And that lets him go deep, offer real quality for the people who are really invested, instead of just chasing broad, shallow views for ads. Okay, so coffee's made, he's settled in. Now we get to the first real work block.
Yeah, the early morning structure is pretty tight. He says he usually gets about an hour of focused work in before his partner, Natalie, even starts stirring. Then there's a quick chat. It sounds mostly nonverbal in the video, actually. We hear her give this sleepy little noopy when he talks to her.
Relatable.
Then she gets up, starts her day, and he's right back at the desk. Another solid 2 or 3 hours of editing, usually. Right up until about 11:00 a.m. That's lunchtime.
That kind of protected time block. It's gold for anyone doing creative work independently. Deep focus when your energy's probably at its peak. And it's essential because, like he says, he's a filmmaker. About half his week is just him at the desk editing.
And he traces his career path, too, which is interesting. He didn't just land here. He started out doing client work, weddings, bar mitzvahs, events, the grind.
Got to pay the bills.
Right. That eventually let him move up to working with startups, tech companies. And now he's reached that point, the goal, really where he works only on his own original projects, the podcast, the YouTube stuff, his own films.
And he makes a point of saying he actually likes the whole process, especially the editing part. He knows not everyone loves being kind of stuck in an edit suite alone, but for him, that isolation is actually important.
Yeah, he finds it key for storytelling, needs that focus, that independence.
Which he protects.
And working from home helps structure all of this, doesn't it? There's this direct link he makes between the focused work and his, health and finances. One of the simplest, biggest wins of working from home, he says. Just having the kitchen right there, always accessible.
It seems small, but it's a huge intentional benefit, actually. He admits when he had an office, he spent way more eating out, and the food wasn't as healthy.
Sure, happens easily.
Now, kitchen's there,
Yeah.
less money spent, much healthier meals. The minimalist angle isn't about, denying himself food. It's about maximizing control over what goes in. Control and simplicity.
And the meal prep thing, that's a great practical takeaway for anyone listening. Super actionable. He keeps lunches simple, doesn't do anything crazy, but his go-to strategy, make 2 or 3 times what he needs for lunch.
Batching it.
Yeah, and save the rest for the next day or two. Done. Lunch sorted for half the week, maybe. Saves time, saves money.
It's that same principle again, isn't it? Uniformity, like the clothes, but applied to food and time. Reduces the decision fatigue around meals. Okay, so we're block 1, lunch. Moving into the afternoon, the focus shifts. It goes from work to a habit that sounds pretty crucial for grounding him. Fitness.
Oh, yeah, the gym commitment is serious. He lays it out. Been going consistently for about 10 years. Since college, basically. Usually at least 5 days a week.
That's not casual. That's a core part of the structure.
Totally non-negotiable for his intentional day.
And it really reframes minimalism, doesn't it? It's not just about less. It's about building the right supporting structures. He says the gym helps ground him, which makes sense. Being a freelancer, a business owner, that comes with stress, uncertainty.
For sure.
The gym is predictable. It's a release valve, a way to blow off steam, feel better physically, and importantly, have more energy for the rest of the day, the rest of the work.
So after the gym, it's refuel time. Makes a protein shake, makes a second coffee.
Second coffee, yep, important detail.
And then it's back to work. But the afternoon might be different tasks. If he's not editing, he mentions things like scheduling podcast guests, maybe recording an episode, or filming new stuff.
And there's that funny bit about filming, explaining an idea to his mom.
Yes, that was great. She totally misunderstands, right? He's talking about the hustle, like the work ethic, and she thinks he means Hustler magazine.
Yeah. It's just a nice human moment, a reminder that even when you're super intentional, you still have to, explain yourself to the world sometimes or get misunderstood.
Definitely.
But that actually leads nicely into maybe the most philosophical point of the whole video. When he sums things up, he says his day might not look that different from anyone else's on the surface. The crucial difference, he says, is it comes down to the things I don't do.
Ah, okay. This is the core of it then. Intentionality isn't just the schedule, it's the avoidance, the don't-do list.
Exactly. We've talked about the structure he builds. Now let's focus on what he intentionally cuts out to make space for that structure.
So what's on the list?
Well, we can pull out a few key things he implies or states. First, the obvious one we talked about, not wasting mental energy on small stuff like clothes, the physical hack.
Right, the uniform.
Second, and this is much tougher for most people, I think, intentionally limiting social media. Using it consciously, not just endless scrolling that fragments your attention. Avoiding that distraction.
Yeah, that takes discipline.
And the third one, this feels like the big one, the real minimalist ethos coming through. Actively, intentionally, not spending time chasing things that aren't actually important. To him, to his goal.
That requires constant vigilance, doesn't it? In a world that's always telling you to chase the next shiny object, the next level of more.
Constant vigilance, constant self-awareness, and that intentionality has to apply to stopping, too. The work shutdown. That's often the hardest part for driven people.
He mentions that, right? The hard stop when Natalie gets home from her job.
Yes. And he's very self-aware about it. He basically says if she wasn't there as that external cue, he'd probably just keep working.
Interesting. So her arrival provides the boundary.
It forces the intentional choice. Okay, work is done for today. Time to switch modes. It's an external structure supporting an internal goal.
That's a really critical boundary to have or to create somehow. You need that defined endpoint. Okay, so the day winds down, but it doesn't just trail off. There's preparation for the next cycle.
Right. The nighttime routine isn't elaborate, but it's key. Simply reviewing the calendar, checking the to-do list for the next day before bed.
That little bit of planning.
That mental checkoff.
Yeah.
It seems to set the stage so he can wake up already knowing the plan, feeling motivated.
Which helps him get up early and get straight back into it. So when you boil it all down, cut through the parody. The core message seems to be that this kind of life, this independent, intentional path, it takes a lot of intention up front, as he puts it.
Right.
Making conscious choices about the system's clothes, food, finances, work model, and also, crucially, the ability to adapt as my life changes. It's not rigid forever.
It's building a system that's both robust and flexible.
Yeah.
That's the goal, I think. And given how much the source emphasized not getting distracted, not chasing unimportant things, and that deliberate work shutdown.
Yeah, it brings up a question for you, the listener, doesn't it? As you think about all this intentionality, if you looked at your own day, all your activities, your habits, from what you wear to how you scroll online, which part is maybe just running on autopilot right now? Which activity deserves to be looked at, maybe changed, turned into a conscious, intentional choice instead of just happening?
That's where the real power lies, I think. Moving things from autopilot to intentional, that's the starting point.